Have you ever noticed that if you are tempted, if you feel drawn to having a lot of things in your house, in your space, that you may also feel tempted to cram your schedule full of those things? I've been thinking a lot about this lately, and I think there are so many things in common, right? So I used to have a lot of things, a lot of clutter in my life. Um, and I kind of chalked it up to having four boys, having a home business, homeschooling, like all the things, right? So I had all these things in my life. But not only did I have a lot of things in my life, I had a lot of things on my schedule. Things in the life, physical things, and then things on the schedule. Like I was just go, go, go. And I worked all the time. I did a lot of working, but then also just like doing. Just like pack it full, like the to-do list is a mile long. And I'm thinking that these things are kind of the same thing. How crazy is that? Right? If we want to cram our houses full of things because we're trying to have more, it kind of makes sense that we would maybe want to do more because we're trying to fill ourselves up. And we're trying to fill ourselves up in different ways. We're trying to fill up our space. We're trying to fill up our time. We're trying to kind of fill up our heads, really. And I kind of think it's because we feel like there's like a hole. We're trying to fill the hole. And the problem is that it doesn't work, right? Filling your house up with things doesn't really make you any happier. The same way that filling your time up with commitments or work or activities or any of that, that doesn't make you happier either. In fact, it's kind of the opposite. It actually makes you pretty unhappy if you go really, really far to the extreme. And so I'm noticing how much of a parallel there is between those two things. So, and hi everybody, how are you? So good to see you here. I just spent the day, and it was a work day for me. I did not take the day off, but I had dedicated today to thinking. I said, there's nothing on my to-do list. There's nothing on the calendar. I'd done a little bit of work yesterday so that today I didn't have to do anything. And that was kind of weird. And I remember a time, in fact, I remember I had a coach, I think probably 5 years ago, and I was in this really, really intense, like go, go, go. Like I worked every day. And maybe on Saturday and Sunday I only worked half the day. I can't remember for sure, but I worked a lot. Like, and even when I wasn't working, I was thinking about work. And I remember she said to me, like at the end of our time together, you're going to be taking days off and maybe like a whole weekend. And I was like, you're crazy, lady. That's just not me. You don't understand. That's not me. That's not how I live. But now I do that. And I believe that just as I have let go of the things in my life that are not serving me, right? All of the things that were crowding me out. And now I have let go of those things and I have kind of said yes to open spaces. And I have had said, I've just been willing to release the things, either because I just didn't want them in my life or they weren't serving me or because I valued the open space more and maybe the ease of living in a space that didn't have so many things. I valued that more than I did the things themselves that were taking up that space, right? So I let those things go. The same thing has happened to me in the way that I use my time. And there is so much freedom in that. And what that requires, it required me, and it would require if you are doing the same thing, we had to say no to ourselves. Right? So I know of at least 2 people who invited me to meet with them today. And I was so tempted. I was like, oh, I have nothing going on. Like, what's the difference if if I just spend an hour? It's not going to matter, right? But I said no, because I have decided today, Friday was going to be a day for me to just think, and I don't want any commitments. And so I said, how about next week? No problem. Well, actually, one commitment she couldn't reschedule because it wasn't just me, so I missed that. And then the other one is going to be next week. But doing this kind of thing requires that you say no to yourself first, because you are the hardest one to say no to, I think. Because all the thoughts come up and, oh my gosh, I'm going to miss that. And it's going to be so much fun. And it's not going to happen again. And maybe I can squeeze it in. And, maybe I can just kind of shift my free time later. Right? All of the things come up. But if we don't stick to our commitments to ourselves, then all of a sudden our days are packed full. And we're wondering what happened. Like, how did this happen? Why, here I am right back at the beginning where I didn't want to be, And so we have to be willing to say no to ourselves first, and then maybe to other people. And that's the price that you have to pay. It's the same thing as when you're looking at things and you're wanting to declutter, right? You can keep all the things. You can keep all of the books, let's say. Nobody's going to make you give them away. But what's the price you're paying for keeping them? And maybe you need to tell yourself, actually, life is going to be better when we let some of these go. And it might be hard to understand right now, but I firmly believe that we're doing this for the right reason, right? And in the long term, we're going to appreciate the fact that we did say, no, we're not going to keep these things anymore, right? And we can do lots of things to help ourselves feel better about it. But at some level, you are telling yourself no, right? It's like constraint. We talk about this in the Organize Like a Boss Challenge. Constraint is a very, very valuable concept, right? And constraint is just decisions ahead of time. Like, I made a decision today. I wasn't going to have any commitments today. And that's it. And I made that decision once, and I didn't really have to think about it over and over again, right? So constraint can really, really serve us. And there's so much freedom in constraint, right? If you say, this is all the free time I have, and I'm not going to say yes to anything, right? That feels like restrictive on some level, because it's like, oh, wait, now I'm saying no. But on the other end, it's actually so freeing. It's super freeing, because now we have space, right? We have mental space. We have time. We have space on our calendar. And that is like the biggest luxury. As far as I'm concerned, that is the biggest luxury that you can have. Free time, time to do what you want, right? You're not at the mercy of your calendar or what someone else wants or your things. That is the ultimate luxury. And so I think that's why it's so important to develop that muscle to be able to say no. Say no to the things that, may be good, right? You can say no to the good so that you can say yes to the best. But it's hard, right? It really is. I remember I worked so much that I think it was my third, it's either the second or the third kid. So I used to have a bookstore. I had a little e-commerce bookstore. I had books in the basement. It was super fun. I had a website back before it was a thing. And I was packing up and shipping the books to customers, right? It was a bookstore. And I remember I was pregnant. I think it was the third kid. And I'm like in labor. I'm packing boxes in labor. Like, what the heck? And then I went and had the baby, came home from the hospital, the next day or whatever. And then I was packing boxes again. Like, that is the level that I was just like, I cannot stop. I have to keep going. I was like, I have to get these books out the door, and I'm sure my customers were not expecting me to ship books while in labor. Like, that's just ridiculous, but that's where I was. And over time, I just said, you know what? I'm not going to do this anymore. It's not worth it. And that required me to say no to myself, which is not easy, but it is so, so worth it. So thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. Let's see. My house is cluttered. My mind is cluttered, and it's overwhelming to the point of depression and anxiety. Hey, we know what this is like. This is what we are here for. And I think probably everybody on this video right now, I know so many people in our membership, they are exactly at that point. And, you know, and it all feeds each other, right? The clutter feeds the anxiety, which makes you want to do less, which makes the clutter pile up more, right? It's this cycle. But we've been there. I've been there. I know we all have been there, and we absolutely can help you. So stick with me, okay? What else was I going to say? Yeah, Karen knows, right? Karen knows. So we have some really, really important things coming up. So if this is you, please make sure that, a couple things, make sure that you're on my email list, okay? You may or may not see my videos pop up, you know, on Facebook from time to time. Make sure you're on the email list because we have a number of things coming up that you're going to want to tune in for, right? And you may not want to participate in all of them, but I can promise you that one or two of them are going to be really, really important for you. So we're getting ready to do our Organized Like a Boss challenge again. It's going to be amazing. That one is a little bit out. I think we're going to open up enrollment for that later on in August. But if you haven't done it before with us, you absolutely need to do that with us because it is life-changing and so much fun. Right, you get to hang out with me every single day. It's ridiculous. Talk about work. It's like 7 days in a row of us coming together and doing some organizing, but more importantly, just doing this work in here. We've got that coming up, and we have a couple other calls. And I'm thinking forward to the future, these ideas about abundance, right? So I feel like there's clutter, right, in our spaces, in our schedules. You know, and it's all rooted in lack. Okay, so we are holding on to things because we're feeling like we're lacking, right? And we're trying to make up for it, or we're trying to fill the holes and all that. Well, the opposite of that, the inverse is abundance. And when you are in a state of abundance, then you just feel free, right? And you don't need to hang on to any one particular thing. That doesn't mean that you're not, you know, it doesn't mean that you're not going to hang on to things. It doesn't mean that you don't have things that you love, but you're not holding on to things out of fear and out of lack. And so I'm just thinking about abundance in the areas of our spaces, right? And our things, right? That's cluttering, decluttering, and the opposite. And I'm not talking about minimalism, but just having abundance in our spaces. And then with our time, because our time is so important. It's so valuable, and we are so quick to throw it away. Our time is so valuable. So abundance in the way that we use our time. I have some ideas. Did you know, this is the coolest thing ever. Did you know you can travel in time? Like you actually can. And you might be like, okay, sure. But think about it. If you're reading a book, right, that was written 100 years ago or 1,000 years ago, or even if you're watching this video and it is, you know, July 16th or 17th, right? Today's the 15th. That's time travel, right? And it really is, right? You can commune with people from different times. You can go back in time. You can also go forward in time, right? If you're communicating with your future self. And I love to do that. So time is very fluid. And I know I'm getting a little bit woo here, but bear with me. So I want to explore the ideas of abundance in our time, abundance in our spaces and with our things, and then abundance with our money, because these all go hand in hand, right? And when we feel abundant in one area, then actually it transfers over to these other areas as well. And then like all of the money, I'm not saying you're going to like become a millionaire overnight, but so much of our relationship with money is related to our, you know, how we feel about it. And if we can improve your relationship with money, then you will not have the same money fears and worries that you have right now. But I'm getting way ahead of myself. Just make sure that you're on my email list because things are coming down the pike. It's going to be so much fun. And I guess if I just was going to leave you with one thought for today, it's just take care of yourself. Say no. Learn how to say no with love. With love. It's like a parent telling a child, you need to go to bed now. No, you can't have that ice cream for breakfast. I caught one of my kids eating ice cream for breakfast the other day. It's like, what is going on here, right? We don't let our kids have ice cream for breakfast usually. And by the same token, we should have our own self-discipline to tell ourselves no, even when we really want to. We want to do the thing. We want to work all the time. It's not good. And when we can say no, and when we build that muscle, that self-discipline, just absolutely amazing things happen. And you can change your life. I used to work 24/7, had a baby, came back and packed boxes. Okay, so if I can change, and if I can take the day off and not work on the weekends and let go of control and have a team and trust them to do what I used to do all by myself, you can do it too. All right. Where is the email list to sign up? There is a link in the comments here. You can use that one. It says the wait list for our membership, but just use that one, and then you will get on the email list, and then I can communicate with you. That's the best way that I can communicate with you all, because again, on Facebook, it's hit or miss, right? You might see the video or not. So email is my favorite way. And when I send email, it's like I'm communicating directly with you. Email is my favorite. I do love Facebook. I do love Instagram, but I adore email because I get to talk to you one-to-one. And so that's why I love that so much. Okay, so that's what I have for you all today. So good to hang out with you. I'd love to hear your thoughts on all of these ideas. We kind of covered a lot of different things because I was just kind of going, but these are the things that are in my head when I get a day to think. So yeah, hope you have a lovely, wonderful, amazing evening, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care, everyone.